Views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Now is the time for your weekly dose of natural medicine and education. Join kambo practitioner Ginny Rutherford and psychic Todd Rolson as they share their inspiration with humanity and discuss the healing benefits of kambo medicine. The results are astounding. Coming up in the next hour of Kambo Talk Radio, discover how kambo realigns the true self. Now, here are your hosts, Ginny and Todd.
Hello, everyone. This is Ginny Rutherford, and Todd's not with me today, but we are Kambo Talk, and I'm super glad to be back in the studio here doing a live broadcast because, as some people know, Todd and our friend Lil and myself went to Europe, and we've been gone for almost 2 months. We walked the Camino de Assisi and the Camino de Santiago. So we walked around 500 miles. And you learn a lot through that experience. So hopefully when Todd gets back, he'll be back in another month. We'll get together and actually talk about what we learned and that powerful experience that we had. But first, I want to say hi to Justin. Hey, Justin, haven't seen you for a couple of months, so super happy to have you in the saddle with me without Todd. So happy that you're here to help.
Hey, thanks. I'm glad to be here. I
Yeah.
definitely missed you.
That's so sweet. I missed you too. So really, really glad to be back. It's funny because I just got back and there was this thing, I'll just tell a little briefly about one of the things that when we all got to Santiago and walked into town, and literally I had the worst case of shin splints. I basically hobbled into Santiago, but that one of the nights that we all got together, there was 8 of us. We played this little game called Love, Learn, Leave. So you say what you loved about the Camino, you say what you learned, and then you say what you're going to leave behind. And I'll just share a little bit about what I loved about the Camino is how kind people are. I realized in our society it's quite complex and we all have our guard up, and in some ways we're pitted against each other. We don't allow people to be kind to us, and sometimes we aren't kind because we're afraid of some backlash, and so we don't have the ability to be kind. And really on the Camino, because we all were in the same boat following a common ideal, we could be kind to each other, and everybody was open to accept that, and everybody was open to give it. And that was super lovely. I just realized how kind people really are. And the thing that I learned was, you go through a lot of physical challenges walking 500 miles, and some of that was uphill, and it was hot, and your body takes a toll, and you have some pain. And I realized that I couldn't do anything really about the pain, but the suffering is optional. And so through that, I kind of learned how to, I learned that suffering is kind of a state of mind, and I didn't really have to suffer. And that was really a great thing I learned. And what I left behind really was my limitations, because I realized I'm a lot stronger than I think. And even though there were challenges, I could get through them. So I learned to leave my limitations behind. And for that, I'm super grateful. I'm sure as the time goes on, I'm going to have other realizations, because it is quite a transformation to do that walk. But I've just been back a couple of days, so still in the process of just acclimating back into society, because you don't worry about anything on the Camino. You worry about getting up and walking, and where you're going to go, and you follow the arrows, the yellow arrows, and that's about all you worry about. And that was really awesome, because once you get all that worry out of your mind, you can actually become creative and relax. And so that was really cool. Okay, well, enough about that. And like I say, hopefully when Todd and Lil, when they're all back, we'll have a show on that and talk more about what we went through in our processes. But today, we're going to talk about specialized targeted kambo treatments. And this is kind of a precursor to my guests that I'm having next week, who are both kambo practitioners and also acupuncturists. So I'm going to kind of lay the foundation this week. And then next week when they come on, they're going to just tell about their experience and their expertise and how they feel kambo works differently than acupuncture and how they use it in their practice. But today we're going to talk about specialized treatments, and those specialized targeted treatments are based on where you put the kambo. So we were taught in our kambo training with the International Association that when you put kambo in certain meridian points, chakras, or on the ears, that you will have a different effect and it will target certain areas of the body, and that can be very useful. So we're going to go through all those three areas, how they work and their usefulness, and why it can be important to find a practitioner who actually understands how those targeted specialized treatments can be of benefit to you. I kind of want to read from the IAKP handbook a little quote when it comes to, that kind of talks about how they use in the jungle, some tribes, they put kambo in different areas, knowing that it has a different effect. So the Marubo tribe uses the secretion for two principal reasons: to rid the body of harmful impurities, including such things as bad luck, and to imbue the body with power, energy, and good luck. Children were given the secretion not only for these reasons, but also as a punishment to correct improper behavior. That's pretty harsh. The area of the body on which the burns were placed was related to the type of effect desired. To cure laziness, for example, burns would be placed on the back of the neck, while to rid oneself of weakness and become powerful and quick, burns were placed on the stomach or upper arms. And to improve hunting skills, burns were placed on the chest and upper arm. And to kill people in warfare, they were placed near the sternum. So the tribes already understood that placing kambo in different areas of the body would definitely give a different effect. This isn't something new, but the IAKP and their training really has perfected that in some ways and expanded on that by using the different areas of the body. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And why that's important, because there are some areas of the body that are just not accessible. If you have a problem with your brain, like depression or anxiety, you're not going to put kambo, on your brain. But because the ear is a microcosm of the body, there are certain ear points that do have effects on the brain in balancing it. And the same thing with certain organs. You can put kambo on the ear for kidney, liver, and it has effects. And that's the beauty of it. A lot of people will come to me and say, hey, I want to put kambo on my third eye to open up my third eye. So right in the middle of their forehead. And well, I'm never going to do that because I'm not going to, scar somebody with that. But there is a pineal gland ear point. And I have used that many times. That helped to open up the ear point. So that's really the benefits of all these different points, is that you can actually target certain areas based on people's symptoms or whatever conditions they're working on. And it can be quite effective in pain management and just, those meridians and chakras, they are energy centers. So when you fire up those energy centers, just the same way that you do in acupuncture, it has a huge benefit. So the first one we're going to talk about is the chakras. And we know that the chakras are energy centers in our body in which energy flows through. So blocked energy in these chakras can lead to illness. And it's really important to understand that each chakra represents what we can do to keep the energy flowing freely. So one of the reasons why we actually target those centers is because energy can get blocked. And this really helps to unblock that energy. And we also know that there are certain conditions, emotional and mental, and critical thinking, and a lot of things that are related to different chakras. So we know that we can go to a certain chakra when somebody has a particular condition, and we usually do that through a consultation with the client to find out exactly what they're wanting to work on. And then we can come up with a protocol on what chakras we'd like to target. Now, the chakras we know are follow the torso of the body, And we can either put kambo on the front or on the back and still have an effect on the chakras. And I find the chakras to be quite a powerful treatment, because particularly if you start at the base and put kambo on the base chakra, because that energy is going to shoot up, it can be quite intense. And I really do enjoy having a chakra treatment. It's super helpful. So I want to spend time on each one of these. And before I get started into the chakras, I think we're going to take our break first so that I can just really concentrate on each one of these areas. So let's do that first. And then when we come back, we'll get into the depths of using kambo on chakras and how that can be helpful, and give you an option on maybe that's something that you might look for. So you're listening to Kambo Talk. I'm Ginny Rutherford, your host, and we'll be right back.
Chris Stanis is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
Be you plus live your purpose equals joy. That's the motto of Unstuck Joy with Vicki Todd. Vicki believes you were born with gifts that are meant to make the world brighter. Each show will feature an art visioning journal prompt to help you create your way to soul clarity. If you're ready to get unstuck and create more joy, this show is for you. Tune in every month on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit VickiWorldArt.com.
Gain powerful insight and practical tools to support you on your spiritual journey. Access your higher self and tune in every second and fourth Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific to A Life Untethered with Andrew Martin, Walking the Path of Freedom. Andrew is a highly attuned, intuitive oracle, energy worker, spiritual teacher, and international radio host. For more about Andrew and his services, visit thelightedones.com.
Are you traveling most of your day? Do you want to take Transformation Talk Radio with you anywhere you go? Well, guess what? There's an app for that. Just go to the App Store on your Apple device or the Google Play Store on your Android and search Transformation Talk Radio. Catch all of our live shows no matter where you are. Thanks for listening.
A word of caution. If you prefer the status quo and you are not interested in improving every aspect of your life, this book will trigger the shift out of you. The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens is available now. Author Colette Steffen brings the powerful knowledge and life-changing energy and empowerment from the radio airwaves to the pages of her new book. To get your copy in paperback or ebook, visit thetruthисfunny.com today.
Are you feeling stagnant or blocked in your love life, career, health, or finances? Experiencing difficulty focusing or setting and achieving goals? Tune in to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio with psychic visionary healers Carol Dorian and Justice Welling. Discover the cause and effect of unwanted patterns in life. Tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit spiritualdeed.com.
All right, well, we're back. I'm Ginny Rutherford, and this is Kambo Talk. And again, as I said, he hasn't come back from Europe yet, so hopefully in another month he'll be back and back on the air with us. So I kind of miss him. I feel like I'm just yakking, and I need somebody to yak too. So I'm pretending like I'm yakking at Justin. You're there, right, Justin?
Nope.
listening to my every word. All right. Well, as we were talking about, we were going into all the different specialized treatments and why it's important. And our first one is really talking about kambo with the chakras. And in a healthy body, the energy flow is really harmonious, and then all the chakras are in equilibrium. But when there is a blocked chakra, the energy doesn't flow. And this can result in an imbalance in the chakras. And sometimes physical manifestations from each chakra through the nerves or the glands or in the endocrine system and the nervous system can just cause some physical and emotional problems. So that's why we really try to target some of those areas, because it can help get the body into equilibrium. And each chakra has it has an area, a physical issue and an emotional issue that is associated with it. So I'm going to kind of go through those really quickly. And again, when somebody comes to me and wants to have a specialized treatment, we have a consultation so that we can figure out exactly what protocol we're going to do, whether we'll do the chakras or whether we'll do meridians or ear treatments, and which ones we're going to actually target. So the root chakra, which is down at the very base of the spine in the tailbone area, the emotional issues surrounding that is really our survival issues, such as financial independence, money and food and those kind of things, kind of more family origin. And some of the disorders from the physical issues of having a blocked root chakra can be disorders of the bowel and the large intestine, or eating disorders, depression, and immune-related disorders, chronic lower back pain, and just a lack of energy. So by putting kambo on that chakra area, it will actually fire that up and unblock that. So I do a lot of root chakra because it's amazing how many people have issues around their financial independence, money, and food in our culture, because it's kind of set up that way. And so I do a lot of root chakras, and people have really good results from that. The next one is the sacral chakra, and that's about our connection and ability to accept others and new experiences. So it's kind of the emotional issues around that is our sense of abundance, our well-being, our pleasure, and our sexuality. And some of the physical issues that correspond with a blocked sacral chakra is chronic back pain or sciatica, loss of appetite, sometimes blood cancers, diabetes, dysfunction of the reproductive organs, the spleen, and the urinary system. And it's really surprising how many people, how that sacral chakra, just firing that up gives them such a feeling of well-being and some calm. So that's a really great one to work with also. The next one is the solar plexus, and this is our ability to be confident and in control of our lives. So that emotional issue surrounding that is self-worth, self-confidence, self-esteem. The physical issues that show up when it's blocked are stomach and liver problems, leading to digestive disorders or diabetes, pancreatitis, arthritis, and allergies. And again, I find these lower chakras, more people have blockages in those three lower chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus. And I always think they're much more on the grounded physical level, and I just see more people having blockages there than any of the other chakras. So the fourth one is the heart chakra. This is our ability to give and receive love. And the emotional issues around that is love, joy, and inner peace. And some of the physical issues are disorders of the heart or lungs, asthma, allergies, immune deficiency problems, and tension between the shoulder blades. Now, most people come to me wanting to open up their heart chakra. And there are a lot of different ways to do that, certainly, or open up their heart, And so many times I will target the heart chakra, and I can also target the heart meridians. But I find a lot of times, in order to open up that, the heart space, is that there's other issues around it. So sometimes we'll work a little bit first with some of the other areas, and then after maybe 3 or 4 sessions with kambo, and there's been some realizations and worked on some of the other issues that keep the heart blocked, then we'll target the heart chakra and the heart meridians, and then they'll have that beautiful opening. But it is really lovely to target the heart chakra. The next one is the throat chakra, and that is our ability to communicate. The emotional issues around that are communication, self-expression of feelings, and the truth, telling our own truth. And some physical issues that show up around that are chronic throat problems or mouth ulcers, laryngitis and thyroid problems, ear infections, headaches, pain in the neck and shoulders. And I find this quite a bit where people have blocked throat chakras, where they, in our culture, we're just coming back from Europe, and I see how people are just so much more open than we are. If they're angry, they express their anger. And we suck all that down because we are so worried about being politically correct. And so I see a lot of people with blockage in their throat chakra. And even a lot of times when they just take kambo as a basic treatment, the kambo, they'll feel it's starting to come up the purge, but it gets stuck right in their throat. And I always see that as a blocked throat chakra. And I see that so many times with people. It's a real problem, again, in our culture, to not speak our truth and not say what we really feel, and just sucking down all of our emotions. And so it's helpful to be more in touch with that. The other one then, the 6th one, is the brow chakra. This is our ability to focus on and see the big picture. Of course, it's located between the forehead and between the eyes. And of course, I am not going to put kambo on that chakra. I'm not going to put a kambo point on your foreheads. But I will target that in other ways, that chakra, like I say, with the ears and sometimes the meridians. And I can do it on the back of the neck up higher, sort of at the level of the shoulders, to try to target that. The emotional issues around that are intuition, imagination, wisdom, your ability to think and make decisions. Some of the physical issues when you have blockages, headaches, ear and eye problems, brain tumor, stroke, neurological disturbances, and learning disabilities, and sometimes spinal disorders. I don't use this one quite as much because I don't find this to be as much of a problem for people as other parts, although I do use it. But I would say a lot of times when I have people who come to me with more inability to think straight and make decisions, I usually go to the ears, because I think there's much better points there. But certainly I have used the brow chakra at times. But generally, like I say, I go to the ears for some of those types of physical issues. And of course, the last one, the 7th chakra, is the crown chakra. And this represents our ability to be fully connected spiritually. It is on the very top of the head, which is really not treatable with kambo through the spine. So the emotional issues here are inner and outer beauty, our connection to spirituality, and just pure bliss. Some of the physical issues around that is pain in the nervous system. So we generally, again, when I do the crown chakra, I'm going to target the ears or another meridian, rather than, because I'm not going to put kambo on the top of your head either. But we can still target those areas. And I find that when we do either all chakra treatment, where you're only having chakras done. We can also do only ears. We can do also only meridians, or we can do what we call a very specialized treatment, where you get some points on the chakras, some on the ears, and some on the on the meridians. And those can be quite powerful. But I find that sometimes just localizing it into just chakras can add to the power of that also. So that's why we really target the chakras in order with kambo. I just had a conversation with one of my friends who's an acupuncturist and who's also a kambo practitioner, and I asked about her, her experience in using kambo on these meridians and chakras opposed to using acupuncture. And of course, she says there are two different clientele, but what she finds using kambo on these points is that people have a much deeper experience and much more transformative. So that's about chakras. And it's about time for our next break. So when we come back, we are going to go into the meridians. And I really love using the meridians. It's really one of my favorite treatments because it's just, there's just so many things that you can do with it. And so we're going to go deep into how to use kambo on the meridians and some of the benefits of doing that. So you're listening to Kambo Talk. I'm Ginny Rutherford, your host, and we'll be right back.
Known for his keen sense of humor, contagious smile, and extensive esoteric wisdom, EJ translates deep spiritual wisdom into practical advice to empower you to live your happiest, most fulfilled experience. Mystic Living Radio, Deep Spiritual Wisdom, Practical Advice with EJ, Eliyahu Jihan. This hit show delivers profound experiences for all who want to live life to their deepest desires. Tune in monthly for Mystic Living Radio. Learn more by visiting vitaltransformation.org.
Tune in to the hit show Mouthing Off with Chef Rossi. Chef Rossi mouths off about different subjects in pursuit of breaking down walls and opening up your minds. She and Dr. Pat banter back and forth, taking from the headlines of the day on subjects that reach beyond what goes on in the world into your hearts. And go to theragingskillet.com to find out more and let Chef Rossi know what's on your mind.
Are you struggling in a relationship and deeply craving some tools and support to get things back on track? Do you crave having a loving, compassionate relationship with Mr. Right, but always seem to pick Mr. Wrong? Well, Sarah Luce can help. She's created a 4-week online course starting September 28th that will teach you how to shift your energy and behavior to have new transformative outcomes. And you're going to get a personal one-on-one session with Sarah to ensure you get powerful, personal results. Sign up today at sarahluce.com.
Do you ever feel as if you're working twice as hard but only getting half as far? Are you trying to connect with your path in life and finding it elusive? Mainstream Metaphysics Radio is a weekly call-in show where we harness our connection with the universe and use what is in our power to affect change for optimal success and happiness. This hit show bridges the divide between what is and what we do not know. Eve, named one of the country's top psychics, also known as the MBA Psychic, invites you on this journey for this live call-in show with readings, featured guests, leaders, and visionaries in both business and spiritual callings. So join Eve Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com as she takes metaphysics mainstream. For more information about Eve, visit EliteTarot.com. That's EliteTarot.com.
The goal for the Art of Powerful Living Radio is to inspire every human to live lives that are rich, fulfilling, on purpose, and fun. This hit show with Robert Schoenfeld is a fresh approach to boldly living our lives with creativity, courage, patience, wisdom, love, and power. Join Robert every month with Dr. Pat Basile for the Art of Powerful Living Radio.
All right, we're back. I'm Ginny Rutherford, and you've been listening to Kambo Talk. And today, of course, we've been talking about specialized treatments. In our last segment, we were talking about the chakras, and now we're going to go into the meridians. And of course, during our break, I was talking to Justin about him doing kambo. So we'll see. I would look forward to doing that, giving him a nice little specialized treatment. So we're going to go to meridians, and this is really this is my favorite, is doing meridians, because our body is literally just a grid of energy flow. And there are so many meridians. And in Chinese medicine, the meridians are channels of energy just running through the body. And each channel relates to a particular organ in the body. So we can stimulate certain points on these channels, and then that influences the flow of energy through the organ, and that channel actually flows through. And it's quite interesting because when these particular organ, the energy flowing through that organ is blocked, or it's just weak, that organ can develop a lot of problems. And really, if we can position the kambo points, we can actually strengthen and even up that flow, and open up the flow of that energy. So I get really, and it can increase the intensity of the kambo experience. And many people even feel these different kind of the sensations in their limbs and organs when they're doing a meridian treatment. It's as it's becoming unblocked. So one of the things I love is I love to target the liver meridian, which is on your left leg, down at the bottom of your left leg. And because everyone in our culture, particularly in the U.S., because our food has so much pesticides and stuff on it, and even in just the water we drink and in the air we breathe, our liver really is taxed all the time. Trying to just keep our getting rid of all those toxins in our body. So I almost see that everybody has a blocked liver. And so many times I will just target the liver just because people need it. And when I target the liver, I see a different type of purge. It's really usually very dark yellow and a little thicker, because it's the liver. That's what the liver looks like, that bile when it comes out. And so it's pretty interesting to see. When I target different things, sometimes I will see different color purges. And as it's going through and opening up the energy centers and cleaning out the toxins in those organs. So there are 12 main meridian lines. And there's kind of like a yin and a yang as we go up the meridians and back down again. And so we have so many options to the organs through these meridian lines. And I'll just touch on a few of them. The lung meridian, which I really love using lung points. I call them lung points because in our lungs we carry a lot of grief. So there's a couple of points that that are the lung meridians that we call them grief points, because we really do carry grief in our lungs. And if you think about Chinese medicine and how qi flows through the body, the Chinese medicine, they know that if you have certain issues with certain organs, the depletion of qi in it, that it's related to an emotional issue. And so we know that the lung meridians, which is really one of my favorites, it's quite intense for people. And a lot of times when I'm doing the lung meridians, they'll start coughing because they're clearing out all that energy in their lungs. So the lung meridian is really one of my very favorites. The large intestine is also one that I do quite a bit because it also helps the function of the lung. And it secretes and excretes from the inside and outside of the body. So it eliminates a lot of stagnation of qi energy in our body. Excuse me. The spleen meridian is another one that is plugged all the time and blocked in our culture, just based on our food supply and the toxins in our water and air again. You can give mental fatigue is one of the negative effects on the spleen. And it also will help with just general digestion. People who have digestion problems, sometimes it's really helpful to target the spleen in order to help with those digestive problems. And also people with hormone issues too. Most people don't realize that the spleen helps in the secretion of hormones. I love the stomach meridian also because it is also helpful in the functioning of the reproductive, lactation, ovary systems, and also the menstrual cycles. So people are having issues there. A lot of times we will target the stomach meridians. The heart meridian, I do the heart meridian a lot because, again, people are always wanting to open up their heart. And it does represent compassion, and it kind of governs our emotions and the spirit. And so people love, so that is always on the left arm, down at the bottom, and then there's a couple of points going up the arm for the heart meridian. And I use that quite a bit because it's really a very lovely point. People have a really lovely experience from that. And it also opens up their emotions. I always kind of laugh because I always tell people, now you've had the heart meridian, go home and watch a really sad movie because, your emotions are open now. And it's nice to get into touch with that. The small intestine meridian is another one I use a lot. It really, it's about anxiety and anger, nervous shock, and emotional excitement. It can affect the blood, and so the small intestine can actually, it can cause blood stagnation when it is blocked. So it's really helpful to open up that meridian. The kidney meridian I use quite often also because it controls the energy and the spirit to the body, and it helps to resist mental stress by controlling the hormones in our body. So this can detoxify and purify the blood. And so the kidney meridians are super helpful to open up that. I mean, there's some really big ones here that I use quite a bit because almost everybody in our culture have some blockages there. The bladder meridian, it's kind of related to the kidney system also. So a lot of times I will do the kidney and the bladder together just to open up those whole systems. There's one that I use quite a bit too called the triple heater meridian. And it kind of will work it's related to kind of the chest and the solar plexus. And so sometimes those areas where circulation, it can help in circulation also. So that triple heater can really kind of work on the circulatory energy of the entire body. The gallbladder is another one that we use a lot because almost everybody has blockages in their gallbladder. And so when I target the gallbladder, a lot of people will have, again, a very dark bile type purge. So this is about, your gastric juices and which helps with digestion and also insulin production and intestinal hormones. So it's a great one to look at. And of course, we just talked about the liver meridian because I use the liver almost with everybody just based on the fact that everybody has a blockage there. And in a lot of the Chinese medicine and in Qi, the liver is where we carry our anger. And so by releasing those blockages in the liver, it really helps people to, as a matter of fact, a lot of times when I have done liver meridians for people who are carrying a lot of anger that they're not at all in touch with, but it's there, they will find that for a few days after they've taken kambo and we've targeted that area that they just feel really angry. And they're like, why do I feel so angry? And it's because we targeted that. And honestly, we need to be able to let those emotions out instead of harboring them in our body, because that's where illness starts, because we deplete those organs of chi. So I really love it when people will call me up later and go, wow, man, I'm so angry. I can't believe it. Well, that anger has always been there. It's just that you were just not aware of it. And so getting in touch with it so that you can kind of release it can be really super helpful. So this is how I use the meridians, and how most practitioners will use the meridians who actually use meridian therapy is just to target certain organs in the body. There are literally hundreds of meridian points. I just really touched on probably the biggest ones that I work with, because these are so conducive to everyone. Almost everybody in our culture has them. So it's not that there's not other ones. There really are, but these are the ones I use most of the time. There are a lot of meridians for really hard to treat areas, like the brain or the breasts, or, inside the mouth, or, the eye or the face. We can use all of those and target all of those kind of areas with the meridians. So they can be quite helpful. Okay, so the next area that we're going to go to after the break is going to be auricular treatments. So in the ear treatments, and again, the ear treatments are some of my very favorites because it's a completely different experience. So when we come back, we're going to go into ears and go through the whole process of how it's different from other treatments. And hopefully by the time we're done, you will have a good idea about what kind of specialized treatment you might want with Kambo. So you're listening to Kambo Talk, and I'm Ginny, and we'll be right back.
Have you felt a lot of fear and self-doubt in your life where you feel like you never know what's right for you? As a result, maybe you've made yourself invisible or haven't fully put yourself out there. Hi, my name is Deb Acker. In addition to being the host of Truth Talk Radio, I'm an intuitive life coach and energy healer. I clear energy blocks to all areas of life, including stepping into your power to be confident and visible in your relationships and the world. Did you know fear, self-doubt, feeling invisible, and not feeling comfortable to put yourself out there are all linked to not being in your power? What if you could always feel powerful and on purpose at all times? I used to spend a lot of time hiding in fear and self-doubt. Now I'm not afraid to put myself out there on a bigger scale, and most importantly, I know what's right for me in every moment, and I take action accordingly. On the other side, I now help others with this, and if you're ready to be powerful and confident and let go of the fear that holds you back from a bigger life, I'd love to gift you with my pattern identification session. Simply contact me on the contact page of my website, DeborahAcker.com. That's DeborahAcker.com. And let me know you heard about this gift through Transformation Talk Radio. I look forward to connecting soon.
Are you struggling in a relationship and deeply craving some tools and support to get things back on track? Do you crave having a loving, compassionate relationship with Mr. Right, but always seem to pick Mr. Wrong? Well, Sarah Luce can help. She's created a 4-week online course starting September 28th that will teach you how to shift your energy and behavior to have new transformative outcomes. And you're going to get a personal one-on-one session with Sarah to ensure you get powerful, personal results. Sign up today at sarahluce.com. Curious about the meaning of life? Do you want to deepen your spiritual practice? The School for Esoteric Studies offers online training to spiritual seekers from all paths of life and individual coaching. Our courses synthesize Eastern and Western spiritual traditions based on meditation, study, and service applied to everyday life. The school also organizes group meditations each year to benefit humanity. Whether you're just beginning to reflect on the spiritual side of your life or are a more experienced spiritual seeker, the school warmly welcomes you to join our group. To learn more about our courses and services, please visit esotericstudies.net. That's esotericstudies.net.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do, for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
All right, we're back. I'm Ginny, and this is Kambo Talk. And of course, as I said earlier, Todd is still in Europe, so I'm kind of missing him today. But we've been talking about specialized Kambo treatments. And this is really one of I love doing specialized treatments because it's a whole different ballgame when you actually start targeting people's different conditions, emotional and physical. And they have quite a unique effect by doing it. But I've talked about chakras, I've talked about meridians, and now I'm going to go into ear treatments. And really, ear treatments are some of my very favorites because the ear is a microcosm of the body. And so each part of the ear relates to an organ or a function or a part of the body. And there are really... there's several different systems. So there's a French system, there's the Chinese system. And I use both of those systems, actually. Some of them correspond back and forth. But I love ear treatments. When you do just ears, it is a different kind of experience because Kambo is quite physical. I mean, you feel it in your body. And doing an ear treatment, it's not so physical. And there is a point in time where you kind of almost go into a blissful state with the when it's only on the ears. And I just love that little blissful state. I mean, you're still going to purge and go through the process, but that little time of bliss where you just feel really good and you feel the medicine going through your body, I just really love that. So we take a lot of care when we do ears because that's really delicate area, but also there's areas of the ear that just doesn't have the same nerves in them, so it's not quite so painful. And the ears heal quite quickly. Now they're much easier to get infected, so making sure that they're really taken care of with dragon's blood to keep them clean is very important. But they heal very fast, and they don't scar very much, so you hardly see scars. And so people who don't, have people who are like models or they don't want to scar their body, we'll do ears because then you don't have to see any of the little scars from the Kambo points. So ears is really helpful for that too, just if you don't want to have those kind of scars. And again, we can reach all different parts of the body. And I love ears. There are really some very lovely ear treatments and points that you can use. There is the master cerebral point, which will help balance both sides of the brain. There's the Shen Men, which just really puts you into great balance. Sometimes we target the parasympathetic system. The way it works too is if we look for the dominant side of a person. So if you are left-handed or right-handed, and we'll put the Kambo, if we're wanting to increase the effects, we'll put it on the dominant side. If we want to decrease the effects, we will put it on the non-dominant side. So sometimes we'll do it on both sides based on what effects we're trying to get from Kambo. I've actually put like 12 points on people's ears, and it's quite amazing to have that experience. And I always like to talk about, for me, I like to talk about some of my own experiences with it because, well, that's really all I know is, what has gone on to me. The last treatment I took from another practitioner when I was doing the advanced training was an ear treatment. And literally, I went into this place for about 30 minutes of just this bliss, as though I had, gone somewhere, but I was there. And I just sat in this perfect peace for about 30 minutes. And it was really, really very lovely. So the ears are very special to me just because of the effect that people have. And again, people who are, have difficulties with the physical effects, sometimes we'll do ears just because it's a little easier on them to go about doing it. And again, for every organ in the body, there is a corresponding point on the ear. And we can just really target very specifically. A lot of times I'll target the ear and the meridians if we're really wanting to go, say, to the liver. We're really wanting to target the liver. A person's having real issues with their liver. We'll target it from a lot of different angles so that we can get the maximum benefit from the medicine. And people tell me how different it can be and how much deeper it can be by actually going and doing these specialized treatments. Now, we're trained to do these specialized treatments. So, that's what I would be looking for as a trained practitioner, because it's very important that you have somebody who knows how to target those spots and feels comfortable with it. I think I've talked about this before, that with kambo, there is a transfer of energy from the practitioner to the client. And so having a trained practitioner who actually understands that process is very important, but also having the knowledge and the experience of that you acquire just really through this type of training and through your own experience to hit those points properly is very important. And actually, you can understand where those points should be. You could actually set a protocol for you. I think that's a very important aspect. So a lot of times what I do, I start out people with a basic treatment, because the first time this is something new and I want people just to experience the medicine. And usually the second time I do the same. And I don't do a specialized treatment for people till about the third time they take kambo, because it's a different experience, and it can be a little more intense and can go into some of the deeper levels. Well, we're about to the end of the show here. I hope that this has been helpful for people to understand why you might want to do a targeted treatment and how it can be helpful for you. And it's been great. This is the part I really enjoy, because this is how you can take this medicine to so many deeper levels and for people, and they definitely feel it. And hopefully next week, well, not hopefully, but next week we will have 2 acupuncturists on the show, and hopefully this will give you kind of the foundation, so as they talk about their experience, you'll know what they're talking about. And they're going to talk about how they've seen kambo on those points, and some of the experiences their clients have had and how they use it. So we've got a couple of minutes here left. Hey, Justin, do you have any questions about what we've talked about today? I know I've offered you to take kambo, so you feeling like that's something you might want to do on a specialized treatment at some time?
It just might be.
Perfect.
I just might have to.
I would look forward in doing that. And then you could be on the show and talk about your experience.
Hey, not a bad idea.
Yeah, I think it would be great. You probably know more. We were just talking about, you probably know more about kambo than anybody else. Just from listening to our program for so long.
Fan.
Yeah, you know as much as I do now. So anyway, next week we're going to have Kim Mathis and Lee Schwab on, and I really look forward to that show. And I'm going to say hi to Todd, because I'm sure he's listening over in Europe. And you guys are listening to Kambo Talk, and I'll see you all next week. I'm Ginny Rutherford. Have a great week.
You've been listening to Kambo Talk Radio with Ginny Rutherford and Todd Rolson. We hope you enjoyed the lively discussion of kambo and the astounding results it manifests. Kambo medicine is truly magical, and Ginny is a powerful guide to total wellness. To find out more about this sacred medicine from the Amazon rainforest and its amazing benefits, visit kambokiss.com. That's KAMBO kiss.com.